only doctors can be embryologists.
Doctors could be MBBS, they could be PhDs, but now it's a bit different.
They can choose which baby is to be born.
I think this is one secret that God has kept to himself.
Many young students I have came across who fear entering embryology. They feel it's too clinical, they feel it's so emotionally taxing. What would you say that if someone is hesitant to pursue this path?
उनको नहीं करना चाहिए.
So, hello and welcome you all to the podcast of SERT, School of Embryology and Assisted Reproductive Technology. I am Dr. Shilpa Dultani, embryologist, an IVF researcher, educator and your host for today. At SERT, we don't just teach pipetting. We shape professionals to carry research, ethics and skills into the future of fertility care. And in today's segment, we take a moment to celebrate the science, the struggles and the silent strength of an embryologist. So behind every successful IVF story, there is a microscope, a petri dish and a committed human being. And today, I'm absolutely honored to be speaking with none other than Dr. Pankaj Talwar sir. He is a pioneer in the field of reproductive medicine, a decorated military doctor and a visionary behind SERT, School of Embryology and Assisted Reproductive Technology. Now, he is the recipient of prestigious Vishish Seva Medal awarded by the President of India for pioneering work in assisted reproductive technology and embryology. And his experience spanned decades. So he has done over more than 17,000 IVF cycle with success rate of 60% and more. He has set up 29 IVF centers in India and abroad, and he trained over 2,400 plus professionals in 23 countries and authored more than 10 books, including India's first video atlas in ART. Now, still, he remains one of the strongest voice for scientific integrity in the field. He is currently serving as director of ICET and Dr. Talwar's IVF clinic. He is president of IFS 2024 to 2026. He is pioneer in ovarian tissue freezing and cryobiology in India. So I would like to welcome Dr. Pankaj Talwar, sir. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Shilpa. My honor.
So, sir, since Dr. Talwar sir has more than 30 years of experience, so, sir, I need to have a general discussion that when I was even a toddler, I was just carrying with wide eyes and scrap knees, you were already serving in the military army, and not just with your duty in the army, but also taking the responsibility of the discipline and security. So, what do you still feel about IVF in the country? How was IVF in back early 2000s or earlier than that, and how it is different today? Was it more chaotic and more rushed?
I think it was very exciting at our times. Now it has lost excitement. It's become very simple now. At our times, when I was picked up to do IVF and embryology, I was told that you're going to divorce your wife. I spoke to Neetu. I've been told this. कहती है कि कहने की बातें हैं. And we both moved to Delhi, to Army Hospital. When I went to the lab, I thought I had come to a small factory. It was my first exposure to proper IVF lab was in somewhere 2002. And I'd worked somewhere before, but this was my lab, which I had to work for nearly 15 days thereafter. We had equipment to make tools. When I ask people, what is an ICSI needle? Sometimes they look around and say made up of polycarbonate or made up of polyethylene. But at our time, we had to mold our own tools. We had micro tool makers. We had to get those borosilicate tubings, heat them up, bend them by melting them, then polishing for the angle. For quite a sum of time, we had to make our own medias. And then came by, after 4 to 5 years, 3 years, some medias were available. And I remember very distinctly, that time there was no mobile phones. And there was no proper internet also. So we used to work on those little phones. And we used to get a call we'll get a call in the night that media has arrived. Because medias were not available on the phone call. Medias had to come from Mumbai. Port was in Mumbai. So very commonly, I remember taking out my little scooter. I had a Chetak scooter that time. At night, 2 o'clock in complete fog, blanket को बांध के हम दो लोग बैठ के we used to go to airport, go to the warehouse, and then by fax we used to get the voucher from the company in Mumbai that media has been shipped by the airlines. And so go and get the media in a small plastic box, thermocol box, and then come back to your unit, to my army hospital. And the night we used to take out the media for tomorrow morning's case. Two times in my career, the scooter got punctured in the night at around 3, 4. And you know how the airport area would be around 25, 30 years back. So our life was very exciting that time. And nowadays, with the click of a button or your mobile phone, you can order anything. So we had to many times make our own media. We had to do our own quality checks, and we have to make our own micro tools. A very different world altogether. That's about the equipment and the media. Now coming to how we worked. We didn't have anyone to teach us. Now you are an educator. You are training so many people. Our academy, CRT is doing such a great job. We are churning out around 100 candidates every year. But at our times, जैसे दादी नानी का नुस्खा होता है ना, recipes, we were never told the recipes. See, we never knew what to do. Our only teacher was few booklets which came from some company like Cook's or Origio that time. So we used to get those booklets and underline them and read them. No one taught us how to do the things by hand. So we used to just experiment and keep working. You won't believe it. Many times we forgot to put water in the incubator. Many times the incubator got dried up because we were all learning by ourselves. There was no one guiding us कि ये algorithm है 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ऐसे करना है आपने. So we were actually all alone in our learning. And I remember, now when we train people, we are always throughout the day. If you go to the website, you will find a large number of courses being done on embryo culture, denudation, embryology, ICSI, cryobiology. At our times, it was very, very different scenario that time. That the first course in India which we had, that was in year 2005. That was in Mumbai. 2005 में तो आज से 25 साल पहले we had our first formal training module being held in Mumbai. Before that, nobody was teaching anyone. That's the time one of the companies got few European brand leaders into the foray and they got them to Mumbai for training for 2 days. You'll be shocked to know that amount of money I paid for 2 days of training and one dinner thrown in costed me 2 months of salary as an army gynecologist. So expensive that was. Then we had to travel all over the world. I remember putting my salary of 2-3 months. Like everyone was doing like that only. To travel to Israel, I'll travel to Germany. I went to France, Paris, and picked up things. Back in our country, training was not there. Embryo culture was to some extent was there, and our biggest enemy that time. So तुम जैसे छोटे बच्चों को बताना चाहूँगा कि our biggest fun-loving period was night 2 o'clock, when all the ETs were done, and now we were left with large number of embryos. Being a very ethical place, we were not doing any embryo donations, and we were doing around 150 pickups per month. Just imagine that every night we had on a cryo planner to freeze around 40, 50 or 70 embryos. Now those embryos had to go in a straw, which you would have probably never seen also. We had a thing called a cryo planner, which was always gasping for LN2. And every half an hour we had to pour in LN2 in that. It could only take 6 straws at a time. So it could take around, and one patient had around 2 straws, and we had 10 patients. And the whole cycle took around minimum 2 to 3 hours. And we spent around 6 hours every night. You may think that I am telling you a lie, but any of my contemporaries will tell you that was a live, and we used to get over by around morning 5, 6 we used to finish our freezing. And then in the same conference room, take bath, wash our face, get fresh, go back and do cesarean or apply a vacuum, then half an hour nap, come back to the clinical work again in the IVF lab. So our journey was very exciting, which you can't even imagine. But I think the newer generation, though they don't have so much of struggle anymore, but they definitely have more competition. They have more ethics to fight with, and there's more regulatory control over your people. At our times, paperwork was there, but not as aggressive the way you do it now. Now, I think in case any clinic does around 150 cases, they just can't survive without having 3 to 4 embryologists or two gynecologists. But we people, being single,
Yeah.
we used to do whole of embryology,
Yeah.
150 pickups, and my day started in the morning at say 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, giving them a bottle to give the semen samples, and then we did around on alternate day we did around on average 10 to 15 OPUs,
Obvious. Okay.
and that included single person doing their embryology, their denudation, ICSI, and they were all in every OT. We had
Yeah.
2 or 3 cases of micro. We didn't have micro TISA that time; it came in later. But TISA PISA was like a routine that time also in the army. So I think we had a very exciting time. In case I get a chance again, I like to go back to that. And then Neetu told me, yes, when I told you that you're going to divorce your home, it's come true. Because I never went home. We people never went home for months. You won't believe it. We didn't see sunlight for months. Because we used to go home in the morning at around 5:15 and come back by around 6:37, half an hour break maximum. And whole day, every Sunday we were working. But that's very exciting journey I had. And thank you so much for asking me this question. And
That's
I really very
commendable,
closely
sir.
correlate with that. Thank you so much for that.
That's commendable, sir. We would definitely love to join you there if we would be able to learn from scratch with you. I remember one of my mentors also telling that we used to use that mouse pipettes. Right now we have that micro pipettes automated.
Exactly.
So we used to handle the semen with my mouth pipette without fear that it's not contaminated our
Correct,
mouth. Yeah.
correct.
So we have to have a proper control over hand and
Correct.
mouth while using
Everything.
it. Yeah.
It was a very different era. Because you see that how we used to work. Our embryo biopsy was done with probably mouth pipetting.
Yeah,
many
yeah.
times. So a very different era.
Yeah.
But I think that type of training really brought up something out of us, and that was amazing.
So, sir, like since you come from army background, how does this sense of discipline and service influence your approach to assisted reproductive technology and embryology? And how should an embryologist prepare themselves? Do you have like few mantras for them?
Surely, I think it's a good teacher. Army does give you a discipline, but I think एक अच्छा teacher होना बहुत ज़रूरी है. And my teacher was Bigde Sharma. And the day I joined the center, that was 31st of December. I felt very happy. Delhi was my hometown. I felt आज तो party होगी. It was homecoming for me. But he gave me a problem that day at around 6:37 in the evening. He told me, I'm not able to locate a straw. That time we didn't have battery devices. We used to have straws in which we had to freeze semen and embryos. He told me to find a straw in a can, cryo can. And I thought I'll do it. I knew how to do it. I spent around I started around 7:38. And by midnight, around 2 o'clock, I couldn't trace that straw. I went to him and said I couldn't trace it because it was not there. I said, why did you give me this work? He said, Happy New Year. As an embryologist, you cannot think about going for New Year parties because they are, you have to mature. When you mature, I will tell you to go. But you were not mature to go, so I stopped you by giving you some work. And what have you learned? I said, I've learned how to segregate the straws, to label them, do the cross-checking, take out the LN2, put the LN2 cans back. That was my the moment of reckoning. I knew that I'm in a different world. I matured overnight from a little, a young army lieutenant colonel. I matured into an embryologist. And after that, we have not looked back. I remember that when I was told by my teacher, did you smoke in the morning? I said, yes. He said, you can't enter the lab. And that was a very difficult time. I used to smoke, and now I have not smoked from nearly 25 years. But that time I did smoke in the morning. And I thought I can fool somebody and fool myself. But then I learned that you can't smoke, you can't take alcohol, you cannot take garlic, you can't take pickles, ginger, onions, because they generate VOCs. That time we didn't have a concept of VOC. We didn't have any VOC meters. That time we didn't have any. The only thing which we had was something called a fire-rate kit, which probably you would have never seen it also. Fire-rate kit we used to use to check the carbon dioxide. Just we used to just keep shuttling it up and down for around 15 times after pumping in the gases from the incubator, and then it had a small marker telling us how much is the CO2 concentration. But gradually, your generation is very different. Now you're trained that way only, that people do good job. You got VOC meters, you got pH meters, particle counts. I mean, every second when I meet a young doctor like you, they talk about parts per million and parts per billion. At our time, there was no concept. We had to be I had to be a walking sensor. I've had it multiple corporates when I've trained. I think I don't even know how many embryologists I would have trained. Set up so many labs. Now when I enter the lab, I tell, तुम्हारे lab के अंदर आज 10 ज़्यादा है, particle count ज़्यादा है. How do you know? I said, I can see in the light. Then I tell them, today your VOCs are high. They don't trust me. But when they look at the indicator, it is blinking red. So I think our teachers were not like the peppy teachers of today. Today's teachers will take the embryologists and they will record social media bites. They'll put themselves on the social media and try to tell world they know. Our work was very, very quiet, very badly scrutinized. In case we made a mistake, we were told to leave the lab. Once by default, I was counting the medias, and the media bottle touched the floor. Though it was in the refrigerator, it shouldn't have touched the floor because it had to go in a tray. And then I was barred from entering the lab for next 3 to 4 days. So I think that was a very different era we had, and that's what it has actually made us into a more mature doctors. And army, as an army discipline, always gave me courage to walk on this path. And I think we have done well. And we were the pioneers of cryobiology, pioneers of ovarian tissue freezing from our setup, and we have done well. And I think the new generation is quite a pampered lot because they have everything at their back and call on a phone. They can call any engineer anytime. We didn't have any engineer. In case for me, the silicone tubing had an oil bubble. I didn't know how to repair it. XC machine has got a silicone tubing, and they were all that time air based or oil based. In case they get a bubble, then with contraction and expansion, it couldn't support the movement of the sperm. And in case it got cracked, what do you do? I remember we had to import the silicone tubing from UK. It was an RI equipment. It wasn't available in the country at all. But now you just want a new RI, you want to buy an XC machine, you'll get within 2 hours.
2 hours, true.
That time even the silicone tubings were not available. Oils were not available. So we had no concept at all. And we were struggling at a pregnancy rate of around 30-40%, 50%. But nowadays, in case the result is less than 70%, I think that's a bad lab. So now we have more cancellations, we do good work, we are doing all blast transfer. First time when we had vitrification in the country, that was year 2007.
2007?
Yeah. People were so scared that we can do vitrify by dipping it in the... At that time, the whole Europe was not propagating vitrification. But India took it on, and 2007 we had the first workshop in our country where we had something called cryo leaf. In case you wouldn't even have seen that. It's a big device in which we had to load our embryos called cryo leaf, and media was from Origio. So big debate was on how to do it, but gradually it took us around 2 years to shift to vitrification. And after we got vitrification, we came back to our families again, because vitrification means barely 6 or 7 minutes, and the cryo planner took around on average around 3 hours for one
cycle.
Section. This army discipline was always behind me, and rest, I think we need to have a good teacher, a teacher who can actually correct you, a teacher who can do your hand holding and put you on the right track. That's the same thing which we are doing at CEAT. We are doing hand holding, teaching people the ethics, law, and we do the exact monitoring of every step. That's what we are doing now. But that time there were no teachers, and nothing was available for us to read also. We didn't have any books, we didn't have any manuals. There was no internet. There was no way by which we could know that we are doing good or doing bad. So that's the advantage of the younger generation.
So embryologists do need to surrender and sacrifices with army's discipline like that.
Anyone. So imagine the whole life changes. In case we entered the hospital after 7:38, we couldn't enter because we were told to go and take bath in the labor room.
True.
अब जाके नहा कर आए, because even if you're driving a car, you were sweating. So we used to go back to labor room or our own conference hall where we had a small washroom. Dobara we had to take bath.
Yeah.
Then enter the lab. So we had to come before actually sun actually got up. So by around 7:38 the work had to start. So it was very different. But now things have become much orderly. We were actually very chaotic. Very chaotic. We didn't know what to do. But now things are all streamlined. There are SOPs, algorithms, there are videos, there are so many courses being done, so many certifications. So life has become very nice for the younger generation.
Yeah. Sure, sir.
And they also have a big responsibility.
Big responsibilities, yeah. So at your time, you were building yourself from the scratch. Right now, we have some SOPs designed for us. We have to just indulge in ourselves into it and get work
But
started.
no one was watching us. I tell you one thing. Even if we made a mistake, no, I don't think we made a very major mistake, but yes, mistake did occur. So देखा होगा आपने कि एक गोरे कपल का ब्लैक बेबी हो गया और मिक्सिंग सीमेन का मिक्सिंग many times the strippers were being or a mouth pipetting was used for multiple patients. So one embryo could land up from one plate to another plate.
Yeah.
Or the semen straws could get mixed, but now this thing cannot occur. This thing is not acceptable now. So even if we mistake occurred, I think it didn't occur with me, but a lot of articles were in the newspaper. You're finding mix-up ho gaya, the color change.
Yeah.
But nowadays you don't hear about them because these things they don't occur because you got something called a witnessing system. You got multiple embryologists, multiple technicians. So things have become much better for the generation. But they're under very tough scrutiny. And law is watching them at all the times. I mean, you fill in so many forms every day for every patient. At our times, we only had one small register, which we used to fill with the hand, and that was the only one we had. But you guys have to fill in around 8 to 9 forms every day. And the more difficult, I'm now working with the corporates, I've realized that doing an embryology is so simple, but filling those forms is the most difficult part. And every day when I get the feedback from my units all over the country, and I follow every egg, I follow every fertilization failure. I follow every egg which got denuded and gave me a GV. So now we are putting them under different sort of a stress. No one ever inquired what happened to our eggs.
Yes.
Get this point? हमारे पास पानी नहीं होता था. So we used to go to battery shop, get water, boil it, and use in our incubators. That's the only thing we had. We didn't have any IVF grade water at our time. Our whole work was being done by 70% alcohol. And now when I teach people, I say, no alcohol.
No alcohol.
Alcohol not allowed. Those simple battery waters not allowed.
Not allowed,
But things are actually changing. I remember some time back, a woman clinician could enter the lab holding her purse. And क्या हो रहा है? दिखाओ मेरे को how are the babies made, how are the embryos. But nowadays, we just don't allow, I think, any embryologist to look at yourself. You'll never wear any lip gloss, no nail paints, no perfumes. And as a male, I've never applied any deodorant. I think I left deodorants and perfumes around 20 years back. Soap has to be something very mild. Soap, nails have to be properly clipped up. So that's a different discipline we have. And I think the message for everyone is that embryology looks very lucrative, but it entails a big amount of sacrifice.
Sacrifice is there.
और embryology में क्या होता है? You either pass or you fail. When we do a surgery as a gynecologist and we find कि हमने surgery करा, थोड़ा scar अच्छा रहा, बुरा रहा, और surgical outcome can go, some complication can occur, that can be repaired, that can be done with. But in embryology, one breath and it goes. I have seen people when we're working and you're trying to do stripping and the stripper falls off. It falls with embryos in it. What do we do? You're working and the plate moves and the drop spills and embryo goes in some other well. What do? So I think हमें अब पूरी ज़िंदगी के अंदर एक तरह का ना एक बहुत ठहराव लाना पड़ता है, लाइफ को रोकना पड़ता है. That excitement, we have to control our excitement, control our ambitions, and we have to just settle down for this particular job. और अगर आप देखें ना शिल्पा, एक कपल को आपके पास पहुंचने के लिए और मेरे पास आने के लिए it takes minimum 5 to 6 months. So 5 से 6 महीने का समय लगता है उनको to decide that they have to go in for an IVF. Even IUI is under our prerogative. वो 5-6 महीने के बाद में they reach us. This means that 5-6 महीने के अंदर they do around 8-10 visits to a doctor. I'm sure you'll agree to this.
Yeah.
And every visit is around, say, minimum 2 hours, because it's not about just seeing them for 10 minutes, but they take time. And then some medications, some ultrasounds. They spend around 40-50 hours before they reach the OT.
OT.
And OT, Jack Robinson, we give them some propofol, ketamine, and within 15 minutes maximum, the eggs are in front of you as an embryologist. And then they are under a workstation, looking at them under a microscope, and then the journey starts. So looking at those egg collection will take maximum of 15 minutes for a doctor. But for you, it may take around another 5 or 6 minutes. Denudation may take around another 5 or 6 minutes.
True.
ICSI take around 10 minutes for a good
Yeah.
ICSI embryologist. So I think within 1 hour, we can close our embryology work. In case you're working with multiple patients, I think 1 to 2 hours is all embryology work which we do for a regular patient. But the key lies with you. एक छोटी सी गलती कर दी, the whole labor of around 6-7 months goes off. I think जो सपने हैं ना, जो हम as a gynecologist what we do, we are trying to create a मिट्टी का एक छोटा सा बेबी, उसमें जान आप लोग डालते हैं, जान एम्ब्रोलॉजिस्ट डालता है, उसके अंदर एक आत्मा आप लोग डालते हैं. There comes the role of spirituality. I think there are so many articles when we were young, or abhi bhi, when I do any embryo transfer, I give them a menu card. क्या सुनेंगे आप? 93.4 FM, you want to listen to some Qurbani, you want to listen to some, she may be from different religion. And they all want to listen to some soothing music from their religion. So we have to have a la carte menu. We play their favorite song which they want to hear. So they are relaxed. I think spirituality has got a very big role to play. I think doing some sort of healing for them, doing counseling for them, because it is not about surgery. It's about how she's feeling at that particular time when you're doing an embryo transfer. How much time do you take for an embryo transfer? Less than 1 minute. So in 1 minute on one side and around 70-80 hours on one side, 1 minute or less than 1 minute की गलती के कारण से she may lose a pregnancy. Last effort of an embryologist loading an embryo can cause a problem. कुछ हुआ तो पूरा साइकिल खराब हो गया. Her moving to the lab and giving me a catheter, or my doing it myself and just pushing it, takes barely less than few seconds. And it goes, and then I say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, rotate, out. And then there's a beta SAG in front of us. हम नहीं कह सकते शिल्पा कि हमने बहुत मेहनत करी. We cannot say कि we worked very hard. We cannot say हम बहुत अच्छे डॉक्टर हैं. आपका result is like a score sheet, is pass or fail. So I think every young embryologist should understand that they cannot say that they're hardworking. They have to be performing effectively. Efficiently is not required by the patient. आप बोलेंगे हमने तो बहुत मेहनत करी, वो बोलेगा मेरा तो रिजल्ट नेगेटिव आया. So it's not only working efficiently, it is working effectively and ethically.
Sure, sir. Thank you for so much, insights behind how embryologists, we need to prepare ourselves before going into actual field. So that's very helpful for us.
Thank you.
Okay, sir. So I have seen it. Like, why do you think that there is sudden rush in this field? So, like, do you think is it opportunity driven, or more of kind like people are looking for some purpose, like perhaps to create a life?
I think it's a very difficult question. So I think, as I say with my grey hairs, my experience, many people challenge me, but I can prove them wrong. See, when I've done an embryology for a couple, I feel when I handle their embryos, they may not have eyes, and they may not feel pain, they may not have eyes, but there's some sort of connect they develop with me. And when the babies come to me, जब बच्चों को लेकर आते हैं, they come with some sweets or something, little baby 3 to 4 days of age, I think the child looks into my eyes and we get a fixation. It's just, it's a connect. And child doesn't cry in my hand at all. And parents are quite surprised that how can a child which is 4 days of age, who's always very cranky, it doesn't move the eyes from my eyes as if he has seen me somewhere. I'm sure that he has neither I have seen him, neither he has seen me, or him or her, but there is some sort of connect. Some vibrations are there which are connecting both of us. अब तेरे को मैं छोटी सी कहानी सुनाता हूँ बेटा, मैं आपको एक बहुत समय पहले IVF when it came in the market means it's sort of a hospital business. It grew very fast and now it's getting gradually stagnated. Around 10 years back, I had an opportunity to talk to somebody which changed my life and changed their life too. They wanted to record a session with the people who do cardiac transplant and liver transplant. And then they had to meet me because I was doing IVF. So IVF was gradually now becoming more and more simpler. It didn't have that sort of an excitement for the people, for people to talk about IVF that time. That girl said, कि सर मैं आपको 10 मिनट दूंगी because I have to spend 40 minutes in the cardiac transplant and around 40 in the liver transplant. I said okay, absolutely okay. तो कहती सर आपके पास पहले आ गई हूँ, आपसे बात करती हूँ और उसके बाद आई विल गो ऑफ देयर बिकॉज दे आर बिगर डिपार्टमेंट, दे डूइंग समथिंग वेरी एक्साइटिंग. तो जैसे आपने मेरे से सवाल आज किए, उसका पहला सवाल था आप क्या करते हैं. तो मैंने बोला आई डू सोल ट्रांसप्लांट. चिकन बैक, व्हाट इज सोल ट्रांसप्लांट. मैंने कहा हम जाने अनजाने के अंदर जिन लोगों के पास कुछ मेडिकल प्रॉब्लम है और उनको बेबी नहीं हो सकता अपने आप से, हम उनके शुक्राणु और डेम एक्स एंड स्पर्म्स को भी टेक देम आउट ऑफ द बॉडी एंड वी मिक्स देम अप. उनके अंदर कुछ तो एनर्जी है जिसे हम कहते हैं उनके अंदर सोल है या आत्मा है. वी गेट देम टुगेदर एंड देन व्हेन दे बिकम ए PN, दे आर एक्चुअली वर्किंग अराउंड द क्लॉक. Their mitochondria are metabolizing. Their glucose metabolism is just surging ahead. The maternal to genomic transformation is occurring. And within 3 or 4 days, they become 300 cell. And so we have brought two different energies together. But कहानियाँ खत्म नहीं होती है. उन सारे के सारे बेबीज के अंदर से कुछ बेबीज, some embryos, they grow better. We put in the womb of the woman and they start making a baby like us. I think we are doing something which people can't even comprehend.
Yeah.
Doing an organ transplant is very easy to do. And I tell you, the way you handle little embryos, they can decide their fate. You can talk to them. Actually, I feel I can talk to the little embryos and I tell them, naak nahi katana, implant karna. I believe in Reiki. When I was sometimes when there were times when I didn't get good outcome, and as any embryologist I've had my pitfalls. I had one day I'd done 15 cases, all 15 had come negative. I've had days when I've done 30, all 30 have come positive. I mean it's a very different sort of a scenario. Passing, failing is something different, but you're never able to get a little more than 60-70% outcome in the end. So I've learned my lessons that what we do is more of spiritual. And many times I give Reiki to my patients. I give the Reiki to the womb. Sometimes I also used to give Reiki to the incubators. We didn't have such advanced incubators like you have today. We had a box incubators. And the sensors were very erratic. And every second, third day, something will start blinking. We didn't have a CO2 analyzer. We didn't have a temperature analyzer. We didn't have them. And whatever we had, they were equally erratic. So we were so crazy many times that we used to talk to the incubators, take care of yourself. And believe me, they did take care of themselves. So I think, but the new world, which is seen by the embryologists of your age, who are the budding future of the world, I think the amount of work which you people do, we can't even think and dream of. The amount of work the younger lots are doing, hats off to them. I think today is a tribute to the young embryologists. The girls like you, boys like you. But एक फ़र्क है, हम लोग काम करते थे because majority of us were doctors. We didn't have many little MSc, BSc children going into this as a profession. This thing has only come in past 3 or 4 years. So now when people look at a beautiful lab, they look at their designer. IVF labs are very pretty. Very pretty. And IVF labs are so well equipped. They got beautiful, huge benchtop incubators, 10 chambers. They got lovely air coming from that. It looks out of a Hollywood sci-fi set. Beautiful microscopes and cameras and magnificent. We didn't have these facilities at all. I can't comprehend that we had a camera at our times in which we could record the embryos, because those things, even if you buy and they got bad, they were never repaired. But now things are very different.
Yeah.
So social media is playing a very important role about this thing. Embryology now, rightfully, I'm grateful to Almighty, is taking its the right place in the world, and an embryologist is now trying to establish their role in practice of IVF, and they are, I think, more important than a clinician. I personally feel I've done both the sides. I've been an embryologist, I'm a clinician,
Yeah.
I am sort of an andrologist, I do a lot of andrology work, I'm an embryonic stem cell biologist. I've done all these things. I specialize in making cardiomyocytes or dopaminergic neurons from embryos. I've done all these things. I feel that finally an embryologist is having his own chamber. When I design a lab now, till 7 years back when someone said, कि सर एक एम्ब्रोलॉजी के लिए ये रूम बनाना है, said for what? Embryologist has to be in the lab itself. But now, before I design a lab, I keep a small area, say 70 square feet of area for an embryologist, where they can go back to their light, go back to their cocoon, lights को बंद करके they can take a short nap, because embryologists are the most important people any clinic has, and they have to be nurtured. They have to be nurtured. They have to be taken care of. But only problem which I see now, large number of people are coming to embryology seeing these social media posts and the ads, looking for an embryologist, starting pay so much. अब तो आप सोचिए, a MSc or BSc person who's working in the lab, who's working in the in any college, they don't know where they have to go. They're looking for a good career. On the other side, we have got nurses, we've got pharmacists, and we have got lab technicians. Now these are working at some small salary package. I wonder, in today's, when I take exams in multiple universities, a large number of the candidates who are applying for embryology are nurses, pharmacists, and technicians. I ask, why do you do it? कहते हैं सर इसमें अच्छा पैसा है. It's such a nice feeling. Now a pharmacist is making some amount of money. Here he'll make 5 times or 10 times that money. So a lot of people are coming here for glamour. A lot of people are coming here as to have better salaries, to make more money. But I think it's up to us now, how do we garner their energy? Those people are very, very nice. See, a young girl coming from Moradabad or coming from Trichy, or some boy coming from small towns, they want to have a career in embryology. And I think this is what we are doing at CIAT. We are giving people an opportunity, and this opportunity, but now when they come to us, it's our duty to talk to them heart to heart. इसमें ग्लैमर बहुत कम होता है, इसमें फेलियर रेट बहुत ज़्यादा है. जैसे मैंने बोला, no cosmetics. When I meet many people, young boys I find a small packet of cigarette in their pocket. I take them out, throw it. तो डांट भी देता हूँ. But that's the way we have to be. See, we have to change the whole personality.
Sure.
We can't be a child. That childness goes out of an embryology for some time. And definitely, yes, it comes back, but during training, they have to know that in case they make one mistake, the whole cycle fails. And also, an embryologist now is no longer a technician. Now he's molding into a very nice person, जो कि उनसे बात भी करेगा. Now, until my patient doesn't talk to an embryologist, I'm not comfortable. So I have to ensure that before I take a call of doing a pickup, they'll have a small meeting with my embryologist. And after pickup, they again meet our embryologist. So that they know that who's going to take care of their little babies. So now embryologists have to have good communication skills also. They have to be rightfully taught, guided to speak less and speak relevant things. अब कई बार में देखते हैं कि they say that our result is 80%, 90%. I see so many clips in the LinkedIn, Instagram. Persistently for every second, third week, they put a post, we got this many pregnancy rate. I think it doesn't happen like that. They should understand that if they get 5 positive now out of 5, next cycle maybe 1 or 2. But they'll finally end up with around 65-70% pregnancy rate. So when I ask them, what is your live birth rate, they are not aware. When I say, what is your CPR, they are not aware. So I think they can't work mechanically. There is definitely a very glamorous branch where you have very nice microscopes, you got laminar flows, you got incubators. It's a kingdom which they inherit. It's pretty expensive equipment. See, the price of setting up a lab is around 1 crore, 1 crore. In case you add how to make that building also, an average lab will cost you around, say, good lab will cost around 1.5 crore. Now they inherit that kingdom. So they have to be also made responsible. And this is what we are doing at CIAT, that we not only show them the dreams, उनके सपनों को पूरा करना है. So I think we take a lot of people who are from MSc, BSc. We are offering integrated courses of 5 years. So I think we are the only one in the country probably who is giving them
different courses.
Am I right? BSc, MSc integrated courses for 5 years. And I feel so nice when I see these young children coming who don't know where they're coming into, and then finally when they pass out, they'll pass out beautifully with some sort of degrees. Or 5 years they come out very qualified doctor. So same thing we should do for at all the places, and it's very, very important to not only show them good life, but also tell them what lies when they come into this.
So how would you like to address this? So there is a peak rise in infertility and ART procedures now. So do you think that there is a demand for skilled embryologists in India and globally? Do you address any talent gap there?
Definitely. First of all, now there was a time when we had very few IVF centers, and now there are plenty of them everywhere. The number is actually increasing quite a lot. The number increases and they are occurring more in the peripheries of the country. So to have more qualified embryologists, which we don't have, they have to travel. And we have to now say no to traveling embryologists. They should not be traveling. But we should be catching people who don't travel. Probably they're in one city and they can go to 1 or 2 centers, but intercity travel should be gradually stopped so that they can give them better outcome. So for this we have to groom a large number of embryologists all over the country in Asian subcontinent, groom them, make them responsible and tell them what is actually required from, because ये लोग छोटे हैं, ये छोटे बच्चे हैं, इन्हें अगर हम ठीक से नहीं बताएंगे, they are maybe carried away by more of glamour. And it's a big knowledge gap, big gap in terms of understanding. And this is the role of people like us, and we can tell them what is right, what is wrong for them.
So how would you like to address this query that many young students I have came across who fear entering embryology? They feel it's too clinical. They feel it's so emotionally taxing, being in the same HVAC system. It will be mentally stressing to them. It's too technical. So these are the few terms I have heard from the the students who want to enter this field, but these are the common doubts which come to us. And what would you say that if someone is hesitant to pursue this path?
उनको नहीं करना चाहिए. See, अगर आप you look back in the past few years, in our country only we have lost very good embryologists. Embryologists are under stress and we're losing them at a young age. Any good embryologist will be under a lot of stress because finally they have to give an answer why we did not succeed. They are equally answerable now. And a good embryologist will be under stress all the time. There is too much of auditing nowadays we are doing. I think we follow every egg nowadays. I'll follow every egg, I'll follow every GV, M1, M2 till the time we do their embryo transfer or we freeze them or later on. अगर आप देखेंगे the burnout rate, जो glamour है ना, glamour of working in a big lab under a microscope, I'm a chief embryologist, I'm a consultant, I'm this, and putting pictures everywhere, हम सब भी करते हैं, but बच्चे लोग कुछ ज़्यादा करते हैं. They have to know that it's got its own problems. It's got a very high burnout rate. Embryologists, since they are so much accountable finally, देखो कुछ टाइम गलती होती है, हमसे भी होती है, हमने भी करी है. But in case it occurs too frequently, you come under a scanner. And then even if you don't come under a scanner, if you come negative, I think negative counseling they are also doing nowadays. We make them do so that they sit with us. I think it's a very difficult journey for an embryologist. It is no longer a 9-to-5 job. I mean, a lot of embryologists feel that it's a very controlled job. We'll go in the morning at around 8:30. हमारा काम खत्म हो जाएगा 3-4 बजे हम घर चले जाएंगे. उसके बाद probably we'll be free. Do some amount of freelancing or do be with our families. Maybe we'll work till 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock. But unfortunately, it's not like that. Any other job which you do, you're free at 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock, 9 hours. But an embryologist doesn't have a break.
Yeah.
He has to work on a Sunday. He has to work on a Diwali. He has to work on any holiday. They have to be there all the time. And that's the thing which is killing an embryologist and making him so vulnerable to mental illnesses. In case I look at the burnout syndrome is very high in the embryologist, probably more than a routine IVF doctor, because they have become very much accountable. They are, after some time, they lose their energy. After having 7, 8 failures, 10 failures, they'll lose their energy. ICSI किया, embryos नहीं बने. Embryo transfer किया, result नहीं आया. Not making good blastocysts, so they have to do complete troubleshooting. See, an embryologist, when he takes over a lab, he doesn't take over a building. वो उस जगह की पूरी आत्मा को इनहेरिट करता है. वो उस कमरे की पूरी वातावरण, पूरी हवा, the CO2 concentration, O2 concentration, N2 concentration, particle counts, VOCs, humidity. I think everything he has to inherit. और अगर कहीं पर भी गलती हुई, result will be shown.
Yeah.
So an embryologist is not that he comes to the lab and goes back. But nowadays, it is his responsibility to, it's part of his training. That's called total quality management. Indenting things, putting them back. The optimal utilization, working on return on investment, ROI is again his responsibility now. So I think embryologist job has become very different from a traditional embryologist.
Yeah.
And now they have to be responsible, and I'm very happy that nowadays people are taking responsibility. And I think even for one day, I can't enter my lab without an embryologist because they're so important to us. And I think they should be given their space under the sky. They have to be told they are important. And hand holding should be done for them. So large number of people join for glamour, but then out of some time they won't be able to survive that glamour, or they'll be working under somebody for a long time. To become independent, they have to be very, very aggressive. They have to work hard, and they'll have a large amount of stress on them. So they're taking a small break, like what I was taught by my seniors in the army. What my teacher taught me, he taught me that you should go out after every ICSI. You may develop dry eyes. Eyes become dry. Your emotionally becomes, doing an ICSI is a very emotional thing. ICSI is not injecting an egg with a sperm. A lot of activities occur. How much of ooplasm you're trying to suck out, how much ooplasm you have sucked out. When you inject, there are a lot of things happening when you're doing, and where you leave your sperm. So as a gynecologist, I always felt the journey of a gynecologist is about a journey of 10 centimeter, where the baby takes birth. उस बच्चे के जन्म की जर्नी जो होती है, that is around 10 to 11 centimeter. उस बेबी के लिए ये एक जर्नी है. उसमें कुछ अड़चन नहीं आनी चाहिए. So that's our job as a gynec to look after them.
Yeah.
But many times the babies normally will deliver well, but in one delivery of journey of 10 centimeter, a gynec cannot sleep for around 14 hours. उसके लिए हर डिलीवरी एक नया जीवन है. किसी भी बेबी को तकलीफ हुआ, then they come under tremendous responsibility. So gynecs are the people who are under a lot of scrutiny and a lot of litigations. So same way with an embryologist. इनका जर्नी कुछ सेकंड का है. हमारा तो इस फॉर 10 सेंटीमीटर, बट हमारे साथ टीम्स हैं. बट एन एम्ब्रोलॉजिस्ट शिल्पा विल बी अलोन इन द लैब. रात का समय है, 3 बजे है, स्पर्म्स है नहीं. They'll pick up few sperms and start injecting. It's not going in. Pipette breaks. Pipette become choked. Silicone tubing is giving you some problem. Oil leak हो रहा है. कोई साथ में नहीं है. And they're all alone. It's very exciting. I am the Amitabh Bachchan of the lab. बड़ा मज़ा आता है. मैंने सब ठीक कर दिया. परंतु जब ये चीज़ें बार-बार से होती हैं, you tend to get tired.
Yeah.
And embryology is a very mentally tiring specialty. I feel all of the people who come for embryology, they should have some sort of psychological assessment internally. खुद से ही सवाल करना है कि मैं ये काम कर पाऊँगा कि नहीं कर पाऊँगा. And I think they are holding a very important responsibility. And before we hand our baton to the embryologist, they should be properly groomed. Grooming them is our job. Once unfortunately, we teach them ICSI and cryobiology. We are not teaching them उनका mental fog कैसे निकालना है, how to heal their mind. We are not teaching them. That should also become part of our duty, or they'll become very depersonalized. मतलब उनके लिए एक ICSI एक egg और sperm बन के रह जाता है. एक embryo freezing vitrification becomes 4 embryo vitrify करने. वैसा नहीं होना चाहिए. They should feel कि ये पेशेंट कौन है, कहाँ से आए थे, 6 महीने से हमारे पास में आ रहे हैं, मैं 2 बार मिला हूँ इनको, इनका आउटकम क्या होने वाला है, उनको कल मैं क्या बताऊंगा अगर दे डोंट फर्टिलाइज प्रॉपरली. सो वी हैव टू मेक देम रिस्पॉन्सिबल टुवर्ड्स दैट जर्नी ऑल्सो, एंड ओनली देन our journey will be completed before they become properly trained embryologists.
So, as we move across the field, there are some myths about embryologists and their work. So, there are some few misconceptions about the embryologist and their work are. So, for example, the first one is only doctors can be embryologists.
I think this is applicable at our when we were young some years back. Now, doctors could be MBBS, they could be PhDs who could have earned their doctorate. But now it's a bit different. I think a lot of young people who are BSc or MSc who have done their BSc MSc in biotechnology or life sciences. Even nurses can also apply to do their MSc in embryology, and they can do the embryology.
They can do the embryology.
And doctors, yes, doctors means that in case of doctors it's better because they should earn in case they have done their PhD, I think they'll have more weightage to the degree.
To the degree, yeah, okay. So the next misconception is embryologists they can choose which baby is to be born.
I think this is one secret which God has kept to himself. Nobody can choose which baby will take birth. I've seen cases where I've said no, I won't do this embryo transfer because embryos are bad. And like being in the army, people used to come to me from far away and they had no time to come again and again. Because embryos were bad, I said, it won't work out for you. They said, sir, Abhi, we have to go back, we can't come back again. So put me my grade 3 embryos. And even they have become pregnant. So I think nothing is in our hand. We can do some embryo grading, assessment, give a probability. But some certain things are beyond human comprehension. I think where God comes into play. And but मुझे भी लगता है कि when the patient's will is very strong, they are highly receptive and spiritual, things happen with them. So we can't play God.
Yeah, okay. So, and also there is like new era of ICSI coming up. So like, it's all about, if you know ICSI, you are a good embryologist. So conventional IVF is, fading away in corporate IVF centers. So do you really think it's all about ICSI?
It's totally wrong. I think it's all about IVF. ICSI has got some indications. Whenever indicated, we should do. And indications are when we're doing a PGT or we need to do an embryo biopsy, or they've got multiple implantation failures, or they've got very poor sperm count. In that case, we can do an ICSI. But I think for majority of cases, I'll prefer to do an IVF. So ICSI, doing ICSI for all is a wrong learning, is a wrong message for the people. And we should focus more on embryo culturing, embryo media. People do ICSI because they bypass many steps. So in case we do any embryo culture, they need change of plates.
Change of plates. Yeah.
They need change. They need to undergo denudation. So around 2 or 3 more steps are added in that, which I feel are okay, absolutely fine. But ICSI for all is not the right indication.
So yeah, because when we talk about ICSI, we are actually making this as instrumental driven rather than the skill driven. So it's not about, it's
Very
for
right.
as per
Very
you.
right.
Yeah. And there is also a myth saying that embryos are not sentimental.
This means that talking about embryos not feeling any pain.
Yeah.
Or they are ignorant to what is happening around them. I think I differ from you here, or not from you, from everyone. It's a very old saying that this small island in the Caribbean seas where they have big oak trees, but people couldn't cut the trees, and the villager said, if you can't cut the trees, shout at them that they are bad. And trees fell down by itself. Meaning, in case you curse a tree, even the tree will fall down. I think embryos are very, very sensitive little babies which we are handling with. They have life. They have got 2 different souls or energies coming in between, maybe bunch of mitochondria coming together. They are very much responsive to what we do. See, when I was doing my embryonic stem cell biology, I was very fond of working on cardiomyocytes. I always thought that from the blastocysts we could make cardiac patches, and I worked for around 3 years on that, and I worked in Israel also. So when in case you take out a bunch of cells, a bunch of pluripotent cells, or even beating heart we used to make in the plates, in case the moment you take them out in the open atmosphere, they'll go into bradycardia. Their rhythmic approach will change. I think embryos also are beating, they're pulsating. They've got energy in it, they're metabolizing. In case we don't handle them properly, no, I can't say do they have a pain index or not. Like I personally feel that even a plants, they respond to heat, they respond to temperature. The trees can be fallen down by shouting at them. I think embryos definitely have a lot of life in them. And as I told you that when they make little babies, they look at me as if they have seen me before. And it's not one. I've seen thousands of babies like that. So I think we should handle them with care. We do a lot of damage to them by ill-treating them. When we don't have the proper temperature maintenance, when we are doing proper bad pipetting, they do get injury. And when they get injury, they have a damage to the zona pallidum or to the olima. They may not be able to survive and become good blastocysts later. So I think embryos should be handled with a lot of care, and I think we should also, when you do any embryology, do bless them. Talking to them kindly that all the best. When I do an XC, I tell every egg all the best. And you're gonna grow to a little baby, and I think they are hearing me out. Though it may be an Atishokti, the new generation may say, "Are isme kya rakha hua? XC is a mechanical thing," but that's the way we look at it, because I feel that it's a lot of spirituality and religion involved when we are doing a procedure, and there are so many articles talking about that in case the patients are religious, they pray, the patients, the couples are cool, they undergo counseling. When they come to you, they are mentally quiet, they can have better outcome. And same thing applies to the embryology part also.
So adding to the same question, so like this were the few myths. So as you clarified the first myth that life science grads can thrive the embryology field. So adding to the same point, so as you are one of the pioneers in IVF and embryology, and you were like skilled when there was less facilities and you were more patient. So what would you think that an embryologist, a budding embryologist, what qualification, what skill set, or what temperament it should bring on the table when you have to be a skilled embryologist?
I think both me and Yogesh, who's the HOD, we work together, and you're also part of the team. I always feel that embryologists should have a very, very sensitive heart. It should actually, when you get a failure, when the patient cries, you shouldn't treat them like a case. It is somebody's tears should not pass through you or pass through your room with detachment. You have to be responsible not only clinically but emotionally. Only then we can actually do well. What we discussed, myself and Yogesh many times and Hitesh, that जो भी लोग embryology करना चाहते हैं, wherever they are, they should do it. It's a very lovely branch. This branch is not going to die for next 8 or 9 years. We have requirement of a lot of embryologists. But इसमें एक छोटा सा problem है that whenever they do embryology from an institute, that should be UGC approved. अगर उसको UGC approval नहीं है, then they probably can't get the formal degree. We are all very, very fond of training. I also train a lot of people at various levels. But in case you really want to give them a degree which will make them capable of getting a job as per the ART Act of 21, they have to follow certain criteria. And those criteria have to be fulfilled as per the university norms. So अगर किसी भी मेरे फ्रेंड को किसी छोटे बेबी ही हो, किसी को भी अगर एम्ब्रोलॉजी करनी है, तो ये ज़रूर देखें कि आप अगर MSc कर रहे हैं या इंटीग्रेटेड कोर्स कर रहे हैं, दैट इज़ अप्रूव्ड बाय एनी गवर्नमेंट यूनिवर्सिटी or a private university, deemed university. But that should be UGC accredited. Again, in case you won't have any accreditation, then probably you'll have problems later because the degree may not get recognized. And in case possible, should also do PhD, because PhD will change your perspective towards
Yeah.
the whole of embryology. By doing the PhD, you will become more responsible, probably more disciplined, and they'll give you better salary prospects also, and you will be doing a bit more of research. This is from my side. I think just I've seen so many people crying that they joined a place and then they are not happy. So joined, I think they should look at courses accredited, which come from big universities. They should look at the courses coming from, say, probably by Foxy, there are various national bodies like ISAR, IFS. We all offer trainings like our institute. So when a degree comes from an institute accredited or approved by a body like national infertility bodies like IFS or uh, ACE or SR or Foxy, in case they have it, I think they'll carry more weight. And like our university, we are working under UGC approvals.
Approved university. So, sir, you mentioned about Dr. Yogesh and Mr. Hitesh, who are the team major leaders in this CERT.
They are the backbone of the whole program.
Backbone of the CERT, yeah, along with you, the visionary behind CERT.
Yes.
So, CERT has become a really known institute for embryology training. So, how is this CERT addressing the gap between the textbook knowledge and the lab-ready professionals?
इसका बहुत सिंपल सा जवाब है that when we see, first of all, there is a need that people want to join. So when we started, we were getting around 25-30 candidates, maybe 30-35, but the number has gone to around 60 now. Maybe it'll touch 70 this year. This means that there is an unmet gap is there, and the whole team now is working hard, and it is 24/7 job for us. See, we are not doing it as, see, for me, Yogesh, Hitesh, and now you also, for us it's not a job. It is not a transaction. We are working with multiple universities, and you know that it's not easy to follow the university norms and get ourselves accredited. You know that how many nights you would be spending at the academy not going back home? No.
I remember,
Now, at my seniority, I am home by 9:30, but you guys may be working till late nights, but you are training people. We're getting people all over the world to come and train with us, and they are staying there only, and they work the whole night. So we're open the whole night. They come and do their practice their ICSI. They can practice their lab work. We have opened the system. That's what we all, few people have done it. But just remember that इसके पीछे एक बहुत एक आध्यात्मिक रीज़न है हमारे लिए कि एक ट्रांजैक्शनल चीज़ नहीं है कि we are enrolling candidates. This is not in our mind at all, and this is what we had spoken as we started our work. For me, it is a transformation. हम लोग मिलकर ऐसा क्या करें कि एक छोटे से बच्चे का जो कि is coming from a small village, maybe like बीजापुर और बिलासपुर, उस छोटे से लिटिल स्टूडेंट को हम कैसे मोल्ड करें कि वो सोसाइटी में अपनी जगह बना सके. उनके लिए स्पेस है, उनके लिए जॉब रिक्वायरमेंट है, एंड पीपल आर लुकिंग फॉर देम. सो उनको मोटिवेट करके लेकर आना और उनको एक 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 पूरे तरीके के साथ उनको मोल्ड करना. एंड मोल्डिंग शिल्पा इज नॉट अबाउट इक्सी एट ऑल. इक्सी दे विल लर्न इन सम टाइम, बट व्हाट वी डू इज वी चेंज देयर पर्सनैलिटीज. सो वी हैव टू पुट ourselves into their shoes. और जो नई जनरेशन है ना बेटा, ये डिफरेंट है. I have learned in these 30 years is that the new generation can't be taught by telling them कि तुम ऐसा करो, ऐसा कभी नहीं करेंगे. It is a new generation which is rebellious, which want their own space under the sky. So we have to get into their shoes, walk with them. एक जूता उनका, एक जूता मेरा, साथ में चलते हैं. तब हम समझ पाते हैं कि ये चाहते क्या हैं. And they are all very beautiful people, but they are, I feel that some of them are in a hurry. तो उनको रुकना पड़ेगा. ये हम करते हैं, उनको रोकते हैं, उनको ट्रेन करते हैं, रीट्रेन करते हैं. और शिल्पा, उन्हीं को ट्रेन नहीं करना होता, हमें अपने आप को भी रीट्रेन करना होता है. हम हर रोज़ अपने आप को भी रीट्रेन करते हैं, so that we make an embryologist ready for the outside world. और readiness एम्ब्रियो कल्चर के लिए नहीं है. जैसे कारपेंट्री, आई मीन व्हाट माय टीचर, व्हाट माय गुरुज टॉट मी इन लाइफ, एम्ब्रियोलॉजी इज लाइक एन कारपेंट्री. स्टेप नंबर 1, 2, 3, 4 एंड पॉइंट होता है, बट इट्स नॉट ए कारपेंट्री. इसके बीच में एक जैसे मैंने बोला ना, वी आर डूइंग सोल ट्रांसप्लांट. I think it's a lot of spiritual anatomy is involved into this, and this is what we have to focus on. So जो लोग भी ट्रेनिंग्स करते हैं, लोगों को ट्रेन करते हैं, आई थिंक उसके अंदर इस चीज़ को उनको इनबिल्ट करना पड़ेगा कि एक छोटे बच्चे को जो कि छोटे से टियर 2 सिटी से आता है, उनको डिग्री देना इज़ वन थिंग, बट उनको चलने के लिए अच्छे जूते देना, उनको जुराब पहनाना, बच्चों को पहनाते हैं ना मिटन सॉक्स, उनको पहनाना, एक हेलमेट देना, और फिर उनके साथ हाथ पकड़ के चलना. डिग्री देना एक बहुत ही इरेलेवेंट सी चीज़ है हमारे लिए, बट टू ट्रांसफॉर्म देयर लाइफ, आई फील कि जब वो छोटी सी यंग गर्ल और ए बॉय कम्स टू अस, उनको बात करनी भी नहीं आती, बिकॉज दे आर कमिंग फ्रॉम स्मॉल टाउन्स, एंड व्हेन दे आर विद यू फॉर नेक्स्ट 2 years, they change.
Becoming ready. Yeah.
They change. And they change, their mindset changes. They become different people in 2 years because they are groomed emotionally. And when they go back, कितना बदलाव लेकर आएंगे ये लोग. When they go back to their town, suppose a girl comes to you from Bijapur or a small town, maybe Moradabad. When they go back to their towns, they'll go back with pride. And that pride is what we have to develop into them. We have to transform their lives. Now these people will do, their parents will be so proud of them that now they have become embryologists.
Yeah.
And we're not stopping there. We are after their blood. We all for कि अभी तुम रिसर्च करो, पेपर लिखो, PhD करो. सो आई थिंक उनको मार्केट में रेडी करके छोड़ देना एक बहुत ही गलत नज़रिया है, और शायद यहीं पर हम लोग डिफर करते हैं. इसीलिए शायद हम इतने सक्सेसफुल हैं दैट वी डू हैंड होल्डिंग टिल द टाइम दे आर एबल टू डू देयर themselves proud and do us proud.
So we are making them like along with the professional readiness to be patient, not be in hurry, and to work calmly to
Transform their lives. देखो उनका पूरा एक जनरेशन चेंज हो जाता है. अगर वो BSc MSc करते तो उनका एक लाइफ अलग तरह का रहता, बट नाउ दे बिकम एम्ब्रोलॉजिस्ट, देयर होल लाइफ चेंजेस. And they rise in the society. They can get better jobs, they can buy a car earlier, they can have a home, and they can really do well. Now जो बच्चे बात भी नहीं कर पाते, वो पेशेंट के साथ दे टॉक टू द पेशेंट्स, उनसे बात करते हैं, उनकी बात सुनते हैं. सो आई थिंक द जर्नी ऑफ द ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन इज व्हाट इज आवर मोटो. बाय नो मीन्स वी आर talking about enrolling and giving degrees. That anybody can do.
Yeah, that anybody can do.
That anybody can do.
But I remember one story here, like the one you're saying that कि जैसे छोटे-छोटे towns से tier 2 cities से आते हैं, they are the first ones who get hired in their second year from the placement industries.
Yes.
Yeah, so they are able to talk, they are able to communicate. Yeah.
उन्हें फायर होती है. देखो, जब when you show a child, उनके पेट में ना बहुत भूख होती है. आँखों के अंदर उनकी फाइंड. हाउ डू वी लुक एट एन एम्ब्रोलॉजिस्ट? व्हाट माय टीचर्स टॉट मी, एन एम्ब्रोलॉजिस्ट शुड हैव एक्चुअली, कहते हैं लेडीज़ के फिंगर, जैसे लेडी फिंगर शुड बी वेरी वेरी सपल. सो whenever I look at an embryologist, I say show me your hands. Look at their hands, long slender fingers with no gap between them is a good hand for me. You know why? Because they are carrying plates on their, they don't keep plates here, because here gap रहता है. They normally keep plates here. So no gap between the fingers is what I feel is a right. Long fingers, they can keep plate properly. They should have eagle size. उनकी आंखों से कुछ छुपना नहीं चाहिए. एक स्क्रैच टेबल पे, एक स्क्रैच, एक ड्रॉप कल्चर मीडिया का स्पिल होता है, वो उनकी पकड़ में आना चाहिए, और उनके दिल पे चोट लगनी चाहिए कि हुआ कैसे ही. एक ऑयल का स्टेन पे दिखता है तो देन फिर दिस इज माई हैंड. ऑयल गिराने में तकलीफ नहीं है, पर ऑयल को अगर इग्नोर करा और क्लीन नहीं करा, देन दे विल बाइट फ्रॉम मी. यू हैव टू बी वेरी हार्श विद देम. अगर उनको एक अपनी अच्छी कार मर्सिडीज देनी है तो उनको चलाने का तरीका भी हमें ही बताना है. दे शुड हैव लायंस हार्ट. लायंस हार्ट मतलब इट शुड बी वेरी बिग हार्ट, ए वेरी बिग हार्ट, नॉट इन टर्म्स ऑफ उनको एक बहुत हमने मजबूत इंसान नहीं बनाना है, उनको बहुत ही कॉम्पैशनेट, एक एम्पैथेटिक इंसान बनाना है, जो कि एक पेशेंट के साथ, एक फेलियर के साथ डील कर सके. देखो, जब अच्छा सब कुछ है फिर तो प्रॉब्लम ही नहीं. प्रॉब्लम कम्स, शिल्पा, व्हेन देयर आर 5 people waiting outside my room and all are negative. All are negative. And they've all come together. They're asking for a question. Why does it happen to me? ऐसा क्या हुआ मेरे साथ में? और I can guarantee that 99% of the cases they'll come back to you for a next IVF in case we counsel them properly. They know that they can fail, but they need that tender, loving care that an embryologist should be giving to them. और ये सिखाना ही हमारा मेन रोल है एज ए ट्रेनिंग इंस्टीट्यूट. उनको एक प्रोसेस सिखाना इज़ इम्पॉर्टेंट, एल्गोरिथम सिखाना इज़ इम्पॉर्टेंट, टोटल क्वालिटी मैनेजमेंट इज़ इम्पॉर्टेंट, बट उनके अंदर एक बीटिंग हार्ट जनरेट करना इज़ वॉट वी नीड टू डू. और एक ऐसा हार्ट जनरेट करना जो कि पेशेंट के लिए बीट कर सके, क्राई कर सके, और जब फेलियर हो तो एक वो शेर का दिल बन जाए जिससे अरे आई फेल्ड, आई विल बी टफ, एंड बैक टू बैक काउंसलिंग्स एंड negativity, some tears rolling here, some tears rolling there. So this is what is very important for embryology training.
Yeah.
They shouldn't treat a plate of embryos as if they are doing an experiment. They should know आपके लिए एक छोटी सी प्लेट है जिसमें 2 एम्ब्रियोज हैं या 3 एम्ब्रियोज हैं, बट उनके लिए एक सपना है, उनके लिए एक ड्रीम है which is actually worthless. We can't even say millions. There is no price which can be given to them. शिल्पा, सपनों की कीमत नहीं होती है, और जो हमारे पेशेंट्स आते हैं उनके सपने आर लिमिटलेस. आई थिंक वी शुड टेक केयर ऑफ देम. सपने टूटेंगे, उन सब टूटे हुए सपनों को हैंडल जो एम्ब्रियोलॉजिस्ट कर पाएगा, ही इज ए ट्रू एम्ब्रियोलॉजिस्ट. मुझे अच्छे एक्सी वाले लोग नहीं चाहिए, मुझे टूटे हुए सपने को रिपेयर करने वाले लोग चाहिए. एक चीज़ हम सिखाई देंगे, वो सीख भी जाएंगे वो. बट अगर कोई बहुत ही केयरलेस होगा, हार्श होगा, मुझे क्या, मैं तो अपना काम कर दिया, सच पीपल आर नॉट फिट टू बी एन एम्ब्रियोलॉजी.
So such an empathetic thought you, and I'm very grateful that I got this chance to follow on the same, purpose-driven path you have already initiated at CERT, and we are continuing the legacy you started actually. So, sir, coming up our follow-up segment where we are saying that you as a dean and director of this course, how would you account for some ethical or regulatory challenges an embryologist faces in day-to-day of the lab life?
Perfect. I think the government has come very heavily on all of us. It was a very awaited act, but I think it is binding us, all of us, very hard. It was required. In our country, we do around 2.5 lakh cycles per year. In case I take you to my times, olden times, lab में कोई नहीं होता था. It was probably me and probably a nurse or some technician who didn't know what they had to do. They were probably there to just look at me and see that in case I want a cup of tea or a glass of water, giving it to me, and I used to work around the clock. And not me, nearly everyone worked like that. That was an era around 25 years back. I remember the days when I made mistakes. And not only me, all of us make mistakes, but probably our mistakes were not brought into open. Probably we were able to correct our mistakes. So I'll give you a few examples. Once I was working and the plate flipped. And when a single well dish flips, you may tend to lose embryos. Now what do we do? When out of 6 embryos, we have lost 2 or 3 embryos, what do we do? It happens with all of us. Then what do you do? I think what we did was that we immediately, I told the patient, this thing happened, but we lost 2 embryos. I'm not able to trace them. I apologized and we did all the paperwork, and I blamed it on myself, and that's the way we handled it. There were instances when we're doing embryo transfer or something, the pipette fell down from the hand. The pipette broke down from the stripper. It could happen. एक और चीज़ बड़ी अच्छी होती थी उस समय के ऊपर, that we had no one to monitor us, so we could escape any problem by saying हमें तो पता ही नहीं. We could easily back out. So one day when I was doing mouth aspiration tubing के साथ, when I was holding embryos, this tube is made of a polycarbonate, the pipette, and that pipette stuck the side wall of the plate, and then also I lost 1 embryo. And it happens with nearly everyone. Now, how do we handle it? At our time, there was no punishable acts. There was no one who could come and tell us there was no one to punish us that time. But I think what we did was that as a group of people who were treating them, we apologized and we told them the fact. And then we had embryos and they all became pregnant also. तो मैं आपको एक छोटा सा एक I want to give a message to all of the audience. It's not, see, the acts and the guidelines can never actually bind you. There are ways to break rules. People want to break a rule or hide a problem, they can hide a problem. Or maybe they'll do some sort of root cause analysis, they'll do some amount of kappa and document things and then move out. But that's not the right way. I personally feel that we should have high degree of ethics. Ethics और laws में क्या अंतर है? Laws are made by the government. They are made by the legislative assembly or executive cadre of the country or our ministries, which are vetted by the law ministry. But when we come to ethics, ethics कहीं लिखे हुए नहीं है. In case you look at the laws which are binding all of us, maybe we are bound by what is written in Bhagavad Gita, maybe our Puranas, maybe our Bible or Quran, maybe the Hammurabi Code or the 10 Commandments of Moses. Something is binding everyone. So I think all these things are in our heart. So ethics are in our heart. In case we know in our heart कि जो हम काम कर रहे हैं वो गलत है, ये हमसे गलती हुआ है, तो I think we'll be very, very candid and open about it. Ethics are bigger than laws, and ethics are not written anywhere. So I think what we tell our people who come to us for training, that laws are there to bind you by giving you a chapter on offense and penalties, like our ART Act has got a chapter 5 on offense and penalties. But that is something, when you make a mistake, they can catch and punish you. Parantu, more important is inculcating ethics in a person. और ethics हमारे दिल के अंदर से आते हैं. When ethics come, then brain doesn't work. Because brain is governed more by the laws and ethics by the heart. I think all of us should be bound by the ethics. Then we won't go. In that case, we won't make any mistake.
Yeah.
And nowadays, mistakes are not allowed at all. At our times, I think every doctor who operates would have had some complications. We are all humans. And same is the reason for an embryologist. But they're also humans. And I think they work very, very hard. अगर आप दिन में you're handling 30 embryos, I think आप हमारी आँखें we can't even close our eyes because they become so dry. Our hands just start paining. Or the thumb just stop working. So we'll take a little breaks before we are able to go to the next case. And we can have brain fogging. Our brain can get tired. And that's why important that we have to make our embryologists more comfortable. They can make mistakes. They can have a brain fog. But at our times, we were alone. But now, I think we can't make a mistake because we always got a witness with that. In case you are working, I'll witness your work. In case I work, you witness me. At our times, एक ही बंदा होता था, पिकअप किया, इंक्यूबेटर में से एम्ब्रियोस की प्लेट निकाली, एम्ब्रियोस को do an ICSI or freezing. 1 or 2 people are doing the whole process. But now, there is backup for everyone. There'll be probably two doctors working. There'll be 2 embryologists working. There'll be 2 technicians working. So then the checklist which has come now is a very good thing which has happened now. So mistakes have really come down. And I think embryology is one field where mistakes should not occur. So my message to all you young people is that whenever you get tired, तो आप लैब से बाहर चले जाओ. Take a break. Work can wait. Nothing will happen to embryos in case they're in the incubator. But in case your mind is foggy, then you'll make a mistake.
Sure.
So I think now we have got very good witnessing system, which tell us what to do. In case you put the wrong plate, they give you an alarm. The patients are wearing some bangle in their hand. The plates are got a radio frequency emitter device placed on them or barcoding on them. So we can't make a mistake because the machine will catch us. And now one more thing has come, that now we've got AI coming in a big way, though it'll take some more time. The AI will be another check for us because AI will tell us what to do, what not to do. The human factor, देखो शिल्पा, human factor को निकालना है. लैब में काम करते हुए human factor should not be there because human factor is which is governed by the mind, by the heart. आज मेरा बर्थडे है, शाम को तो पार्टी है, या मेरी वाइफ का एनिवर्सरी है, मतलब कि हमारा एनिवर्सरी है. These things are giving you mind fogging and we can make a mistake. And we all have made mistakes. But now with the AI coming up, you really can't make a mistake because they are telling you what to do, what not to do. And so you do right embryo selection, right protocols. Step 1, step 2, step 3 are followed by prompts so that you don't make a mistake.
Yeah.
But I think I come back to you again that the most important part is ethics again. अगर ethics weak होंगे तो क्या AI काम करेगा और क्या आपका double witnessing काम करेगा. So अगर हमारा heart clear है, and in case we create embryologists which have got high ethical values, and for that teachers should have a high ethical values.
Yeah.
So I think we should be grooming. First of all, हमें अपने आप को correct करना है. A teacher has to be more. In case my embryologist has got ladies' fingers, long little nice fingers. They have got eagle's eyes. They have got lion's heart. I think the teacher should be having double that amount.
True.
And teachers should be of very clear thinking and grooming their juniors well. Because we are dealing with dreams और सपनों की कोई कीमत लगती ही नहीं.
So, sir, like as you mentioned about AI, so what do you think this advance in technology is? Would you like to place this into helping hand category of embryologist, or would you consider this as a competitive hand for embryologists? Because if you see the recent articles, there is always a question mark at the end with a statement: "Do AI will replace embryologist?" and a question mark. So, do you consider this advanced technology as a helping hand or a competitive hand?
Have you ever seen a car being made?
Yeah,
You
on
must
YouTube
see
channel.
YouTube channels. A car is made. I've seen cars being made in Germany in Delhi Maruti plant. They churn out around 5,000 cars a day, and it's hands free. There are robots which are making cars.
Cars, yeah.
Robots paint them. Robots put all the screws like a Ford ancillary chain which is moving, and cars are coming out from one end. Spare parts one by one they keep getting in. I think in case we start making cars with our own hands, तो कितनी कार बनाए? I think हमारे हाथ में प्लास और पेचकस ही रहेंगे. We will keep screwing them only. So we have handed our lives to the cars. I mean, in terms of making the cars to our some sort of robots which are working by some intelligence, and that is an AI only. They are called industrial robots which are making. You see China, the cars are driven without engine.
Without drivers, yeah.
Your I think Domino's Pizza may be coming by a drone in some days, and it's already being delivered in China by drones. You would have seen the videos. I think there is no question of our saying that the AI will be our competitor. I think AI is here to stay, and we should make friends with AI. अगर हमने AI से दोस्ती नहीं करा तो फिर हम AI से हार जाएंगे. हमको AI से दोस्ती करना है और AI के साथ मिलकर काम करना है. AI को प्रोग्राम करना है. And I think it's a very good thing. In case we get in terms with the AI, I'll work less. I'll make less mistakes, and probably sitting at my home. I'll give you a little example of my life. Around 3-4 years back, when I went into a system called Lab Health System from one of the companies in India, and I was heading a big organization that time as a director. I used to get a call every night at around 2 o'clock. Sometimes call, sometimes SMSs, WhatsApp messages from somebody called Shivani. My wife got very wild. Who's this girl Shivani calling me every night? I tried to explain to her, but she was in no mood to listen for 1 or 2 days because every night phone will blink and Shivani calling. I told her who Shivani will call me in the night at 2 o'clock. What happens? That in our lab we had installed Pan India a software which will tell me in case my humidity, temperature or particle count will go good or bad. And you can imagine that you are an embryologist yourself, you believe in transformations, you are an educator. Out of 10 labs or 15 labs, somewhere something will go wrong. रात को voltage fluctuate करेगा, तो that equipment is going to tell me that voltage has dropped, or or my UPS is on, my COT is breaking down. Something will come every night.
So the alert system. Basically.
Alert system. Now that has to go through a chain. They'll go through an embryologist, then a lab director, then it'll go to probably the lab head, clinical head, and then it'll go to the cluster head. In a format where they will pick up the call and do the troubleshooting. When they won't pick up the call will come to me because I was the owner of the system. And they were all sleeping, and every night Shivani called me, and it was from a company called Shivani, so we have named it Shivani.
Shivani, yeah.
So it was a very most amazing thing I found, and it was so beautiful that in case something goes wrong in my lab, then I'll get an alarm.
Yeah.
So I think शिवानी से दोस्ती करके मैंने अच्छा ही करा.
Hmm.
It was helping me, or maybe it may be anyone.
Hmm.
So I think technology के साथ हमको मिलके काम करना
आगे बढ़ना
पड़ेगा.
चाहिए, right?
We cannot beat technology. Remember one thing, we cannot beat technology. Look at our mobile phones. A Guru phone which you used to buy, you're a बच्चा, we have a phone like a Guru phone. अभी भी मिलते हैं. The phone is costing rupees 500 now in the market. That phone had nothing, barring it will give you some very rattling telephone calls. And now when you look at our mobile phones, they have got 256 GB. They've got multiple RAMs, additional RAMs. They've got multiple SIM cards. So aren't we more happier than before?
Yeah,
Maybe
true.
our parents, our spouses may not be happy, but we are overall happier. So technology is there to stay, and technology will replace an embryologist in some time, I feel. In terms of the routine lab visits, because see, for an embryologist, we got very good incubators. He can go to Mauritius, he can go to Goa, and on the iPad, they can select what they have to do. They can actually tweak the embryo culture conditions, and then when things are ready, they'll come back and carry out the embryo transfer. I think why are we afraid of technology? We can't escape technology.
So technology is basically an helping hand for us.
Yeah, it's going to be helping hand. Technology will work for us, with us, and we're not becoming slave to a technology, but I think we own that technology. So that's very, very important. So we must adapt to the technology.
Yes, sir. So what would you want the next generation of embryologists, like those listening today, to carry forward that your generation stood for?
Fantastic. I think so. They should all know. It's our duty to tell them that the lab is beyond social media, beyond glamour. And I think when we want to grow, with the growth comes responsibility. With the growth will come failures. I think we should be guiding them properly so that they can take responsibility, and they should learn how to face our failures. That's important. Follow ethics and laws is very, very important. And I think in case they want to do a course or they have to do proper training, that should be as per the UGC norms as we had spoken before, or they can get into problems later. And the last thing is that find a good mentor. Find a good mentor, find a good teacher, and foremost of all, थोड़ा लाइफ को रोकना पड़ेगा. जो हम लाइफ जीते हैं, because when an MBBS doctor does embryology, it's different. When a PhD does embryology, it's very different. But when a young boy and a girl who does embryology, who is just going into BSc or MSc, I think they're not mature enough. वो इतने परिपक्व नहीं होते हैं, इतने mature नहीं होते हैं कि वो समझ पाएंगे उनका क्या responsibility है. But their age will be around 22, 23. At 22, 23, at 24 or 25, they're not that mature enough to take such a big, maybe they are, take such a big responsibility. I think so we should do proper hard selection of the people who are coming to us before we enroll them. Tell them the pros and cons, and they should be told that it will entail a lot of challenges. It's not only glamorous, it's not only a paying branch, but it entails a lot of challenges and a lot of failures too. And they have to be mentally prepared for that.
So thank you, Dr. Pankaj sir, for enlightening us with your journey with purpose-driven and a strong perspective you are given. So as we wrap up today's session, we are reminded that embryology isn't just about petri dishes, incubator or blastocysts. It's about life. It's raw and delicate. So whether we are seasoned pioneer or we are just at the beginning, we have to remember that we don't come up with our hands, but we also come up with full of heart. So embryology isn't just about science. It comes with discipline, devotion, and also sir mentioned that it's kind of spiritual service. And thank you, Dr. Pankaj Salwa sir, for this journey and this grounded conversation with your experience and your purpose-driven path and your perspectives about embryology. And thank you for joining us today to all the listeners. This is Dr. Shilpa Dultani signing off today with heart full of gratitude and a reminder that future of fertility care begins with you. Until next time, stay curious, stay ethical, and keep shaping life.
Thank you.